Hello and welcome to the newest episode of the New Year's 6 podcast. Today I will be wrapping up my week 2 preview prediction series, kicking off or finishing off with Auburn heading out to Cal in a fun late night matchup, Pac-12 after dark, and I think a kind of an unexpectedly good matchup with both teams kind of overperforming based on week 1. I want to deep a little diver on this game compared to just giving it the one over in my collective video and see what both these teams are capable of. I have Auburn in my top 25. I have Cal just outside of my top 25. So this is going to be an important matchup for both these teams as they get ready for the rest of the year. But if you haven't seen my other preview videos, formatting is just going to be going team by team, calling out what's working, what I want to see do better, keys to the game, and then do a final score prediction, winner prediction, all that fun stuff. So, starting off with Auburn as the away team. From an injury perspective, they got a little bit all over the place, but I'm interested more in that secondary. J.D. Rim being, I think he's listed as questionable right now. We don't know what the actual status of what's going to be. He didn't play last week, but I think in that kind of essence, it means that those corners are going to have to step up, especially with these younger guys like Champ Anthony, K and Lee. Auburn's going to have to rely more on their depth in the secondary than on their overall star talent. These are positions where you are going to have to cycle through. You are going to have to run ones and twos. And if some of those twos are out or if they're limited, it means those other ones and twos are going to have to play more or play better. So I want to see what those depth pieces can do for Auburn to help soften the blow. So I'm looking for guys like K and Lee at one corner, Champ Anthony at another. I think up the middle there, Marquee Gilbert, Griffin Speaks, players like those that can make an immediate impact if inserted into the starting lineup, and can minimize this Cal passing attack if need be. So that's what I'm looking for. That's what I am, curious about. That's what I think is going to be an interesting key to the game. And if that ends up being the case for Auburn, then ultimately that it's going to create some problems for Cal if those guys step up, if they deliver. If they make a no-fly zone out there, and Cal's going to have to adapt their offense. In terms of what Auburn does well, their defense is spectacular on third down. It's going to be hard for Cal to get a first down if they're at 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 13. This Auburn defense locks in and makes sure that anyone they play is going to be forced to punt. So if they can keep it low scoring, if Auburn can force these 3 and outs or the second first down and then a forced punt on the second portion of their drive, it's going to be huge for Auburn to get the ball back in their offense's hands and move it in their own right. So if Auburn continues to do well and be a top 5 team on third down defense, and shuts down a Cal offense that's pretty good on third down so far this year, it's going to be a huge momentum swinger for Auburn coming in, performing well on third down defense and taking the wind out of Cal's sails. I think that's ultimately the big takeaway from an Auburn standpoint as to how they win this game is just locking down on third down D. What I want to see Auburn be better at, especially against a Cal offense that has been explosive so far this year, is they got to shut down the running game. So Auburn's rushing defense was not great last week against UMass. So if they can shut it down against a Cal rushing attack that is top 5 in the country right now, Auburn is going to significantly increases their chances of winning this game. So I think we'll get to Cal's offense in a little bit, but I think it's been surprisingly electric so far this year. And Auburn will have their hands full, but the rushing attack being shut down by an Auburn defense that struggled to do it against UMass is going to be huge for Auburn evolving as a team week over week and defending their place in at least my top 25. I don't know how close they are to being in the actual AP top 25, but to me that rushing defense getting cleaned up and being able to hold a Cal defense or hold a Cal offense that's pretty prolific from a rushing perspective, Auburn is going to be in the driver's seat if they can make that happen. So shut down the run game, stand tall on third down like they've been doing, and then I want to see that depth at at corner and safety. If those things come together, Auburn's going to get a quality road win. It may not look like a quality road win right now, but it's give it time. Give it time. I believe in this Cal team right now. I think they're going to surprise some people. Speaking of the Cal team, that prolific run game that they've established last week, that running back room is in rough shape. They got beat up last week against who was it, North Texas. So they got beat up in training camp. Sam Jackson, their quarterback, left during that game. Didn't really need him though. It all kind of played out. But I want to see what this running back room can do, knowing that a handful of them have been held out. So Jade Knott has been the dude, and he is healthy, so that's what's important. But really getting it down to guys like Isaiah Ifansi and Ashton Stredrick, those are the type of players that when the rubber meets the road are going to be just as important for this Cal team winning this game. They're very thin at this position right now just due to injuries. So having a rotation and having guys kind of come in and come out, is going to be huge for Cal to win at home. It's a run game last week that was top 5 in the country, and the top end guys are playing again. It's those mid-tier, lower middle tier guys that are being held out, that are questionable, that are banged up. That's what I worry about. So if the rushing attack rotates, if they use certain guys in certain schemes, and it all works together in a unique way that throws Auburn off against a rushing defense where Auburn struggled last week, then Cal pulls off the upset at home. And they're going to have those running backs to thank for it. In terms of what Cal has done well, their O-line has looked good. They're tied for first in sacks allowed, which is probably 0. So continue to protect their quarterback. I don't know if Sam Jackson's playing this week. That's the big question mark right now. If he's not, they're going to have to rely on probably Ben Finley. And if that's the case, that O-line needs to protect him. Sam Jackson looked good last week. I know he got pulled out early, but Cal beat the snot out of North Texas. Let's call it what it is. And this O-line showing up and protecting their quarterback is a big reason why that's going to happen. So if that's going to be the case again this week, it doesn't matter who they have at quarterback. If the O-line does their job, it allows the quarterback to do his. So that O-line coming together and continuing to support their quarterback will be huge in making all of this come together, for a big Cal win at home. What I want to see Cal get better at is you got to reduce those penalties. They are 98th in penalties so far through this year. You can't give a team like Auburn an inch. They will take advantage of whatever you throw at them. They'll run it down your throat, especially if you give them a freebie. So you got to drop the holding, drop the PI, drop the face mask, and false starts. It is at home, so I would expect it to be a little bit more favorable for your team. I know Auburn is a good group of fans that travel far, but it's still going to be in California, in your home base, and you can't shoot yourself in the foot that way. You can't give Auburn an opportunity to get free points. You can't give them a chance to get a first down when they didn't earn it. All of that will add up, and if Cal can correct those problems that they've had with penalties so far this year, on top of protecting the quarterback and then establishing depth of the running back room, Cal can win a big one at home. They are certainly not out of it by any way, shape, or form. I think it's going to be a fun game. It's going to be the highlight of the 10:30 slot. It's going to be the game that I think a lot of the East Coast sleeps on. They're going to think, oh, it's just Cal and Auburn's rebuilding. I'm not going to watch. I plead with you, watch this game if you are going to pick a late night one this year. This is going to be a special one. So with that in mind, I will pick a winner for this game here. So Auburn is the favorite. They are favored by 6.5 points, and the total is 54. I'm picking Cal to win. I'm picking Cal to win outright at home. I think they take this Pac-12 after dark mantra, a conference that's 13-0 right now, and they add to the list. Cal does not want to be the first loss on this in this conference this year. And I think a win against Auburn at home goes a long way in preventing that from happening. I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair. I think the offenses end up being far more prolific than what we had anticipated. I'm picking Cal 40, Auburn 36, so a 4-point win, smashing the over on 54. But I think this Cal team is one to watch. This is going to be a legit squad so far. If they prove me wrong this week, then I eat my words. But I think this Cal team is going to handle business at home against a tough Auburn team. Their fans are going to freak out. They're going to be like, oh my God, we lost to Cal. Hugh Freeze isn't the answer. And it's going to look a lot better. This loss is going to look a lot better on Auburn in week 12 than it is in week 2. That's the only thing I can say on it. I don't think this is going to end up being a bad loss. This is a top 5 game this week for a reason. And I think it's going to be overshadowed by overrated games in my eyes, like Baylor, Utah, Texas Tech, Oregon, games like that, which, as far as I'm concerned, having teams like Baylor and Texas Tech lose in week 1 takes a lot of the wind out of those sails. So that's my thoughts on Auburn and Cal. Who do you got winning? What are your thoughts on this game? Comment below. What are your key factors? All that fun stuff. This is going to be my final video leading up into week 2. I'm looking forward to seeing how all of these teams put it together. But thank you all for sticking with me through this series and the more that I have planned. Thank you for your time today. Like and subscribe, comment below, and we are almost at week 2. Week 1 flew by, and now we're here. So thank you all for watching, and week 2 is right around the corner. So get excited.